All right, let's get started. So I only have moisturizer on my face and I'm just gonna put a really light base on. And for my base, I'm gonna use the Amicole Skin Enhancing Tint in the shade Medium 1. I think the first time I used this, I used the shade Dark 2, which is a little bit darker, but as you can see, now that I'm no longer in Mexico and I'm back to my life of being inside most of the time, medium 1 is definitely the better match for me. It's like a perfect match. I don't know why I'm using my hands. I don't like to use my hands just because it's messy, but this blends really nicely, as you guys can see. Wow, yeah, medium 1 is like truly the perfect shade for me. Okay, so this is, I think, the third video in my color series, and thus far, I really have focused on the eyeshadow being that color. So if it's green, then it's green eyeshadow. If it's pink, then it's pink eyeshadow. So for today, it's gonna be orange, but I wanna focus on orange for the lips instead. That's partly because I couldn't really find any true orange eyeshadows, although I know I have some. I just couldn't find any that are still available. And it's just like true orange is not really a shade that comes up that much in eyeshadow palettes, although I think it's really beautiful. So I was like, okay, like let me think about orange still, but focus on lips because I do see a lot of variations of orange lip colors. I think orange is so beautiful on brown skin tones, but it's wearable for all shades. So I think it's just like unusual, unexpected, but can be super, super flattering. So we're going to be talking about orange today. So I'm going to figure out the lip and then I will do the rest of the face. And so it's kind of backwards because usually I do lips last, but we're gonna do lips first. So I had some lip balm. I'm just gonna try to get rid of what's left. All right, so I have 4 different options for orange lip colors, or like my favorite oranges. And first I have this Tower 28 lip gloss. This is the shade Fire. It's really pretty. It's a really nice orangey gloss. It looks much more like opaque and intense here on the lips, especially since my lips are already fairly pigmented. It's not super impactful. You can definitely layer it up. So here we are. This is just like a hint of orange. Definitely if your lips are less pigmented, you'll see more impact. If you have like an orangey or like peachy lip liner, that could also amplify the color, but as is, it definitely has the orange tint, but it's pretty low key, which totally fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, sticking with that same kind of like glossy vibe, I have the Glossier Ultra Lip in the shade Coupe. I love this formula. I've already talked about it a lot. So here is Coupe right there. So it's definitely more of the orange red. And I think really like depending on your undertones, you'll see more orange or more red. But this is really pretty. Like, see here, it looks more red, but on my lips, it looks more orange. So here's Coupe. It definitely, again, it's not like a true orange, but I think this is, if you're kind of are more of a red lip person, but want a slight variation, then I think this formula and this color definitely, gets you closer to the orange family, but it's not super out there or unusual in terms of the color. Okay, next I want to talk about Gucci. This is the shade Agatha, and I have it in the sheer formula. So this is Agatha. So it's slightly more orange than Coupe, and it's more sheer. It has a thinner texture. It feels a lot lighter on the lips. And on my lips, I think it looks more orange than Coupe did. I like the way this smells. It smells really good. Agatha feels more like a typical like lip balm or chapstick. It's very thin, light, it feels moisturizing. Whereas the Glossier Ultra Lip definitely is a thicker formula. You can feel it much more on your lips, especially if you're layering up, and it has more of the like melted lipstick kind of formula. And this is definitely lighter and more thin. And I think this is more orange than the Glossier Coupe. All right, and lastly, I'm going to use this matte Patent Paint Lip Lacquer in the shade Painted Desert. It's right there. I'm gonna try to like wipe off because okay, here we go. So this to me is like a true orange, but it's slightly muted. Like this is more like a pumpkin orange versus like an orange juice orange, you know? So it's slightly muted. So I think it's very wearable and it's not as neon as some of the more like true orange lipsticks out there are. I think this is super pretty. It's in person, it looks more muted orange, whereas on camera in the monitor, it looks more like true orange. Not mad at it. I think it looks really, really nice either way. Here are all of the 4 shades that I mentioned, and this is the one I'm gonna stick with. So I'm gonna just build the look around this really beautiful orange lipstick. Okay, so obviously this orange is like very bold, and so I want everything to just like complement this tone, and I really want the lips to be the standout. But I do want to like balance the face. Like I don't want it to be like, okay, I have like a totally blank face and then I just have like this super bright lipstick on. So I want everything to be there, but like subtle. Okay, so what I'm gonna do for bronzer is I'm going to use the Makeup by Mario bronzer stick, and that's because this color is like a very, let me swatch. It's a neutral brown, as you can see. It's not very like red like a lot of the bronzers are that I tend to reach for because I really do like that. But since this is going to be, my lip color is so orange, I don't want like a super warm bronzer because I just really want the lips to stand out. Yeah, I just want to do like a little bit. There. See, like it's very like in the same like color family as my skin tone. So I think that makes it more subtle. And then I'm just going to use the little like sponge thing and I'm kind of just like patting it out, not dragging it that much, just really like pushing it and patting it into my face. There. Yeah, see, it looks like very subtle and I'm really just like patting it. It's blending out like so nicely. Normally I would not expect to be able to just like pat a bronzer and have it blend out. So I'm just gonna put a little bit and if needed, I'll add more, but like right now, I feel like it's giving a little bit of sculpt, a little bit of warmth, but it's still pretty subtle. Actually, I'm gonna do a little more. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks really good. Okay, and now for blush. Okay, so for blush, I have a few different options. I can go either more in the like burnt terracotta kind of direction or the peach direction. And so we're just gonna like play with a couple ones and we'll just see what makes sense. Okay, so first up I have this rustic color fix from Danessa Myricks. So as you know, the color fixes can go all over the face. And here is rustic. It's actually, wow, super similar to this lip color. Wow, now I'm like, another example of me buying the same thing over and over again, but this is rustic. This is the Vision Flush, and this is the shade Sweet Nectar. I've used Sweet Nectar before. It looks more bright, but the difference between the Color Fix and the Sweet Nectar is that, I mean, the Color Fix and the Vision Flush. The Vision Flush is much more sheer, whereas the Color Fix is super, super opaque. So even if it looks like it's the same, it actually looks very different on the skin because this is so much more sheer. I don't know. This is like more of a coral. I thought this was peach, but it's kind of more of a coral. And this is the Rare Beauty, the liquid blush in the shade Joy. I really do like this formula. It looks nice with these oranges though, actually. And then another Rare Beauty one I have is the shade Love, which is definitely more of the brick kind of terracotta shade right there. So I don't know. Part of me wants to do like this color just to add something bright, but I actually think like the Vision Flush or this one is probably a little bit more complimentary. But I have one more. Okay, so I have a Rose Ink blush, the cream blush. This just came out today, and I have the shade Anemone, which is a lip and cheek color. This is what it looks like. Refillable packaging. It feels really nice. I don't even want to like touch this, but you know, for y'all. So here's Anemone. It's down here. So it's actually very similar to the whatchamacallit. My brain just blanked. It's very similar to the Rare Beauty one. It's down here. So it's a peach blush. Yeah, so this is just more creamy and that's more like matte. So it's very, very similar. I actually think I'm gonna go with this one, the Danessa Myricks. Or should I do this? Oh, I wish this was like live so you guys could chime in, but I'm gonna go with the Vision Flush just because it's a little bit more forgiving and I'm a little bit intimidated by the rustic blush, honestly. Okay, so what I like to do if I'm gonna put this on my face is I like to more put it on my hand and pick it up from my hand rather than like, sometimes I do dot it on my skin, honestly, but I think it's a little bit safer when I pick it up from my hand just so I don't get like any blotchiness. So I like kind of dab it in here so my brush doesn't have a lot. And then I'm just gonna like pat it in. I'm using this other end just to like clean it up. But there we go. Wow, that looks nice. And you can see you can see a lot of orange, but it's still sheer because you can see like these little like freckles that I have. So it's not like it's super opaque, but you still get a lot of color payoff. So I think that's what makes these like Vision Flush so unique because they always show up, but it's just like so wearable. Ooh, this looks so pretty. Like it's definitely orange, but I feel like it's very subtle. So it's like complementing the bronzer. I mean the lipstick, but definitely the lipstick is like the star of the makeup, which is exactly what I wanted. Okay, so for eyes, I think there's a lot of directions you can go. You can do something that was like, that's more of a contrasting shade like blue. And I wore this blue top intentionally because blue and orange are kind of like opposites on the color wheel. So they're gonna contrast with each other, so each one is going to seem brighter. I personally would not feel comfortable with blue eyeshadow and orange lipstick, but I do think that it actually would work well together. Or you can do something that's like more complementary. So sticking more in the neutrals, I think like khaki color could be really pretty, or like the like dirty mustard kind of color can look really nice. I'm gonna go more in the neutral tan and brown because I think that is just kind of, it's sticking more close to my skin tone, so it will still stand up to this orange, but the lip color and the cheek is definitely going to be the focus. So one color that I have, if I want to do like a really light eye, is this shade by MAC called Paint by Umber eyeshadow. Where is it? It's right here. So it's like a really light tan, kind of like peachy tan beige color. So it's warm. There is that like peachiness. So I think it goes with the lips, but it gives you that like fresh, it's gonna like open up the eyes more because it's a light shade, and it'll just kind of make the look, make your makeup look like finished, but it's not gonna like compete. So I think this is really good for daytime. All right, so as you guys can see, I've just like layered it up a little bit to get more of the color payoff. But see, like it's still subtle. It's very close to my skin tone, but I feel like it just looks a little bit more finished. It has that like warmth, and I think it appears more like peachy now that it's on my eyes because of the lip and the cheek color. So I think this is a really nice, just like for daytime, if I just kind of, just want to finish off your look. And I think this is especially nice if you have like redness on your eyes, or if you have like veins. Like when you're up close to me, like I have like little veins that you can see. And so it's nice to have a color like this because it'll just like neutralize that. Or if you have like darkness or anything like that, if your eyes are red, then having like a neutral, whatever neutral is for your skin tone type of shade, is just nice to always like have on hand. So here we go. This is Paint by Umber. So I definitely think it fits with the look. It definitely does not compete with the lip color or anything like that, but it just like goes. So this is one option. And I think the other option is to go in the very like rich chocolate brown, because it's still like bold, so it'll stand up to like a bold lip color, but it's muted also. So I think that is also just like a good option for, say, at night. If you wanted something like darker or like smokier, then you could just do a rich chocolate brown. And I'm gonna put that on. I'm just gonna apply it over this, if I can just find the right brush. Okay, I'm gonna use the Refer 21 brush, which is like a flat synthetic brush. And I'm gonna use this Stila Shimmer and Glow liquid eyeshadow in the shade Smoky Quartz. So here's Smoky Quartz. So it's like a really rich chocolate brown. And it was kind of hard for me to find this because most of the browns that I have are very warm and have a lot of like red, and they're more like bronze, where I was looking for like a shimmery brown shade. So this is the one that I have like this. So I'm just going to use this brush to apply it. And I'm just going over the shadow just because I'm lazy. But of course, if you were just going to do this, you could just go directly on the eye. There wouldn't be a need to put like a shadow first. Okay, so my camera cut off, but I went ahead and applied it over my eyes. So see, here it is. I actually think it looks nice layered over that other shade, even though like typically I wouldn't have like applied it in that way. I think it looks really good actually. And so I'm going to take the same brush and just go like underneath the lash line. Just to really like frame it out. Yeah, so see, I feel like this like rich chocolate brown looks super nice with the orange lipstick because it's like, I think it makes it more sophisticated actually, and just more like elegant. You know, there's something about like dark brown eyeshadow that I think is just like so timeless, so classic. You could definitely use just like a matte brown eyeshadow, and that could be like super like 90s like glam kind of thing. You guys know I love my shimmer, so that's what I did here. And I think it looks really, really good. So I'm going to just like clean up my under eyes with a little bit of concealer and add some mascara, and then I will be right back. Okay, I added the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Concealer in the shade 145. And I did that because I think it's important whenever I put like something dark around my eyes that my under eyes are brighter, because I just don't want to look like tired. So that's why I added the concealer after I saw kind of how the look was going. I filled in my brows a little bit with the Milani Weekend Brow. This is really nice. It's one of the best brow pens I've used thus far. And I was gonna do highlighter, but I think this looks good without highlighter. I can't even believe I'm saying that, but the blush is very like luminous. And I think this kind of, I don't know, it just feels like good like this. So I'm feeling like weird to say this, but I'm not gonna put highlighter on. Here we go. This is yet another installment in my color series video. I hope you guys like these videos. I hope they're helpful. I hope they encourage you to play around with some colors that you already have, or to try some things that you thought that you couldn't try. So thank you for watching. As always, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.